Hi, everyone. We were having, I don't know if everyone heard our little conversation beforehand, but we're happy to have everyone here. I'm Elana. This is Wendy. We're just giving everyone a minute to start and setting ourselves up. And then we're going to start cooking.
But no stress cooking. You can watch, you can drink, you can cook, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, no stress at all. That's nice. Sometimes I stress about teaching, but I just won't. I'm just going to let it all go and we're just going to have fun. That's the point. Well, the point is also to up-level ourselves as cooks and to raise money for a good cause without stress.
And to have something to eat for dinner.
Well, if people choose to cook now, otherwise they'll just have ideas for another day. Nadia, we're just at 4:01. I think we could get started. I think it's nice to start on time. What do you think, Nadia? Where are we at with people?
We have 14 people.
Oh, so people haven't totally shown up yet, but give it a minute. I want them to hear your introduction, Wendy.
Great. And the ones who don't hear it have probably already heard it, so it's all good.
Okay, well, it's 4:02 then. If you want to start.
Sure. Well, Elana and I can't see you, but thank you all for being on. We're so grateful to you for being here to support Beauty Bus and Concern Foundation in this strange and unprecedented time. And huge thanks to Elana and Meal and a Spiel. I have my cookbook right here. I've known Elana for a long time. I'm good friends with her sister Tamara, and her family's been amazing to our family and to Beauty Bus, and we're really, really grateful. So through this time of pandemic, Beauty Bus and our partner Concern Foundation have been at the front lines. Concern provides funding for cancer research, and they just recently distributed $300,000 to cancer researchers. A lot of those cancer researchers have actually converted their labs over to fighting coronavirus because they're studying basic immunology, and so a lot of the work that they're doing can actually help during this pandemic, in addition to hoping to find a cure for cancer. So we're very grateful to Derek and the whole team. They are planning to hold their annual block party. It's now moved to October 10th at Paramount. So we hope that you all will join for that. And Beauty Bus has been distributing bags to frontline healthcare workers filled with beauty treatments. A lot of them are staying in hotels so that they don't have to go home at risk of infecting their families. And so we're supporting those frontline healthcare workers. We're also sending bags to our homebound clients and connecting them on the phone with our volunteers because they're sick and they're at home and they're isolated, and we're really trying to keep them connected. We have a whole series of at-home beauty treatments, virtual pop-up salons. There's one Thursday night on at-home facials. We also have a caregiving club for caregivers and some social events connecting beauty professionals who are sadly out of work and needing some connection. So we're extremely grateful to Meal and a Spiel for doing this in support of Concern and Beauty Bus, and excited to be partnering with all of you to be here today to do something fun and to learn from the amazing Elana. So Elana, thank you so much. We're so grateful, and we're excited to make boozy, yummy lemon stuff.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Here I am. Okay, I'm just setting this up so anybody that wants to watch us on Instagram as well is also set up. Okay, here I am, coming around. Hello, hi. So happy to be with you guys today. Thank you so much for showing up. It's a really amazing thing. Cooking on its own already is an activity of the heart. It emanates light and love from inside your body out into the food and out into the world. And by doing that and by raising money for issues and causes and research and health and causes we believe in, we are really elevating the light and love that is in the planet right now. So I really just want to thank all of you for being here. You're awesome. So let's talk about what we're going to be making today. I'm just very excited because we're going to be making 3 of my favorite recipes from my book, Meal into Spiel, How to Be a Badass in the Kitchen. And we're also going to be focusing on spring, summer recipes, really what's out there now, what we can use starting now throughout the summer. And, you know, whether you're cooking it for yourself now and practicing, because now is a wonderful time to practice cooking and gain confidence in the kitchen. Before you know it, you're also going to have people over and you are going to be able to wow them and impress them. So let's talk about the 3 things we're going to make. I'm going to show you the proper way to make a tomato bruschetta. Okay. By the way, at any point during this class, if you have questions, please type them into the chat box and I will answer them when we have a pause. So please, any questions that you have. All right, a proper tomato bruschetta, believe me, most restaurants you go to do not make it properly. 2, we are going to be making an asparagus pasta with lemon and nutmeg. So in my book, I make it with a spelt pasta. Obviously, that's not necessary. Today, I'm going to make it with a gluten-free pasta that I found. Spelt is a wheat. It's a really like good like rich wheat. It's harder to find, but it's a nice twist. So don't worry if you don't have that. And lastly, we're going to be making what is called a sgroppinno. A sgroppinno is a boozy lemon cocktail dessert. It takes literally 1 minute to make, and it is one of the most delicious things on planet Earth. And it requires that you have some Prosecco in the house and hopefully some vodka as well. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to teach you guys how to do is make the topping for the tomato bruschetta. We're going to work with these tomatoes. What I really love to do is to let the tomatoes sit in the juices of the flavors of the basil for a little bit. So while we make the pasta, we'll just let these tomatoes sit and then we will come back to them. If for some reason you were in a rush, it's not a big deal. You make it and you eat it, okay? So what I have going on here is, and I really want to encourage you to not be so preoccupied with exact measurements. Those of you that have signed up for the class and registered, the recipes have been sent to your inbox. You may already have my cookbook. There's measurements in there. But what's important is that you're able to go to the market, come up with some tomatoes, not think about exact, and just put it together. And that comes from taste. And that's how I teach you to become an intuitive cook. So I took the liberty of cutting my tomatoes first to save a little time and then realized, shoot, I didn't show you exactly what tomatoes I bought. So let's just have a quick conversation because the number 1 thing to becoming a good cook, well, there's a few number 1 things, but let's say one of the top 3 things to becoming an amazing cook is you have to choose the right ingredients. That is the main goal. So what tomatoes are you going to choose? Well, the recipe that you have, and the recipe in my book is for heirloom tomatoes. Those are going to come out probably in a month. There are some already out on the shelves, but they're not super sweet yet. It's okay. When tomatoes are not in season, I like to use cherry tomatoes. And then when there's sort of an in-between phase, which is what we're at right now, actually what I find are these Campari tomatoes that are slightly big. I'll show you how big they are. They're slightly bigger than a cherry tomato and not quite as big. It's another one. So like this size, and they're on a vine. So let me just show you. I meant to, they came on a vine like this, and they came in a box like this. But what's important is that we're going to use tomatoes that are not too hard and not too soft, somewhere in the middle, so that they're sweet enough but still can hold some texture to them. And then what we're going to do is we are going to take basil, okay? Fresh basil. no dried basil here. If you don't have basil, you're just making this without basil. You're not putting dried basil in here, please. And I am just gonna take these basil leaves. You can't have too much, it's okay. And since we're letting them sit, even a little less basil is okay. This is probably more than I need here. And you're gonna roll this up as if you were in the old days when you had to roll your own joints and you couldn't go to the pharmacy where there were already pre-rolls, okay? And you just roll it up. I know who my audience is, by the way. I know you guys aren't all smoking pot, but anyway, I think it's fun. So just roll it up. And then you're gonna take a knife and you are just gonna thinly slice the basil. And what happens is that it becomes ribbons, okay? So basil is one of those herbs that we wanna slice as opposed to just a regular chop because it maintains its color that way. It's traditional and it's pretty. So I'm gonna take these ribbons of basil and I am going to just sprinkle them on my tomatoes. I mean, already that is amazing. What's coming next is salt. So I'm just gonna add some salt in here using my fingers. And here's the thing, guys, if you don't use enough salt, your tomato bruschetta will not be as good as you want. Another thing is if your tomato bruschetta, if the tomatoes you have aren't great, more salt is gonna help. I'm using kosher salt or good quality sea salt, no table salt, okay? Oh, my olive oil, hold on. So now I'm gonna take olive oil, and I always like my olive oil, that's a great one, Wendy, in a dark glass because that protects the light. And I'm drizzling it on here generously, but I will tell you, we're gonna add more later.
So, and Elana, I heard you say you don't like flavored olive oils.
Oh, I do not like flavored olive oil. When I say you're using olive oil, I am referring to extra virgin olive oil. That's it all the time. So what's gonna happen, because I have the tomatoes in salt, and you could sort of begin to see this happening, is the juice of the tomatoes starts to come out. So that's fine. We're letting that happen, and we're letting these tomatoes like maturate in this flavor. So let's just see. It's good, and it's gonna only get better. So let's leave that be as we get ready for our pasta. And now is an amazing time to ask your questions. If you see me over here, it's because I'm just opening up my computer where I can actually field the questions that you guys have. So, okay. Unless it might take a second for them to come through. But that is, you are open to asking questions. Interact with us. Okay, let's go ahead and start making our pasta. Va bene? One thing that I always love to do, if you've come to my classes before, you know that I always have my pan getting hot before I start using it. It's for a very simple reason. I am impatient. I don't want to start putting stuff in there and then nothing happens and nothing happens and I'm waiting and I'm just gonna go answer emails, then I come back and it's burned. So just get your pan hot. If it's ready for you, when you are ready for it, it will make cooking much more pleasurable because you will feel like you are in control and ready to go. So inside of our pasta, we are going to be putting both a little shallot and garlic, all right? Now, I couldn't find shallot at my market, so I'm using red onion. I'm not using this whole bit. The recipe calls for a half a cup of chopped shallots. Red onion is stronger than shallots. So I'm gonna use less red onion than I would shallots, okay? So that's all. You can't find shallots, you use red onion. You can't find red onion, use regular onion. Just know that shallots are more delicate, so we're gonna use less of them. I mean, less of the onion. And just, I don't have any fancy knife skills, but I just try to cut these up into some slices, and then I lay the slices on top of each other. and I just cut across, okay? No one ever taught me knife skills. I'm self-taught. I lived in Italy for 5 years in my 20s. I learned how to cook because I was hungry, because I went to Italy on my bat mitzvah money and was on a budget and didn't want to have to ask my parents for money. I wanted to experience that freedom. I worked in bars, and guess what you do in Italy when you want to eat good food is you cook. The best food in Italy is in the homes. And I learned to cook a lot from the Italian mamas who I was very curious to learn from. And they don't have knife skills either. Okay, no one goes to knife school class in Italy. They just cook. So don't be so precious is my point.
Elana, do you have tips on keeping your knives sharp, whether you should sharpen them yourself or take them somewhere in a different world?
Yeah, that's the question, Wendy, whether or not I keep my knife sharp. So I am like, the first sentence in my book, I say, why is this cookbook different than all other cookbooks? It's not written by a celebrity chef. It's written by a teacher, and a lazy one at that. So I'm not somebody who's always going to sharpen my knives. To be honest with you, I bought a lot of nice knives that I keep at my parents' house where I teach my classes. So even in my apartment, I don't have anything fancy here, which is just goes to show you. But you do want sharp knives, otherwise it's really frustrating to cook. So one of my favorite knives is this one. It's a ceramic knife, okay? This is like a Kyocera. It's on my website, it takes you to my Amazon page, and these ceramic knives stay really sharp, and I like them. It's also important to have knives that have, this is a Berghoff, that have metal on the inside. This is a nice looking one. I like this one better. And what I'd even like for you is, I think mine is in my metal knife is in my dishwasher, but like even a metal knife that looks like this. Good. So you can take your knives to get sharpened, but I don't have a special trick. I really don't have anything fancy going on in my kitchen. We're gonna open up my garlic just by pouncing on it, not pouncing on it, putting a knife over it and just, and I'd love to hear from you guys, is what your cooking level is. If you could type that in the chat box, I would love to know that. Are you a 1, like you barely know how to boil water, or 2, like you know how to cook, but you kind of not, so you feel like making the same thing all the time, but it's good, it's all right, you're good. 3 is like you are a badass in the kitchen, and 3.5 is like, Elana, I should be teaching this class, not Elana, and that's fine. I welcome that, all for badasses. So I would love to hear that, and I'd also love to know if you are cooking along with me now. Usually in these classes, people wait afterwards, but if I know that there are people trying to follow along, then it helps me monitor my speed. Okay, so I'm getting some answers in here, and while that's happening, my is hot, and my pan is hot, and we're gonna add olive oil. All right, I'm being generous, guys. If you want to make good Italian food, you must be more generous with your olive oil than you already are being, unless you have been coming to my cooking classes for the past 10 years, in which case you have already learned that lesson. So I'm putting the garlic and the onion, or what would be the shallots, in here at the same time, and we're gonna let them saute while we deal with our asparagus. And as I see some answers coming in, that we've got a lot of badass cooks in this kitchen. All right, I got it. We've got 2.5s. We have Alex Hallaby says she has a 3.5 that she should be teaching this class. Alex, you are on, sister. Like, bring it. I'd love to show up to your class. Tell me what I'm gonna learn, and tell me where to show up. We've got 2.5. So we have a lot of experienced cooks in the class, unless it's possible that the number 1s are being shy. Don't be shy.
I can just say my mom is more than a 3. She gave herself, my mom is better than a 3. She gave herself a 3. She's better. And I think a lot of these people who claim they're 2.5s and 3s are actually better than that. I think Lisa Weinstock, you have to be better than a 2.5.
Is like a complete badass in the kitchen. I mean, that's a pretty high number. That's not a 3 out of 10. That's a 3. But that's okay. That's great. I'm glad to know that. Then I'll let you know that this pasta that we're making. First of all, Italian pasta is not. It's not French cooking. This is it's simple food, but this is not the recipe I teach to beginners. It's a step up. So that's great. We're doing garlic and olive oil and we're letting that go. I'm gonna continue and I'm gonna be aware that I can move a little faster since I have experienced cooks in here. So next thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna work with our asparagus. I kept them in the rubber bands because it's a helpful way to learn to know how to cut them.
Elana, before you get there, there's a question from Heather about what we do with the garlic. Do we chop it?
Okay, no, you did not see me chop the garlic, and there is a reason for that. Chopped garlic is very, very, rarely used in Italian cooking. So one of the main issues with American cooking is that they use garlic as this like really strong flavor that is on the top of the food. Italians use garlic as an undercurrent in the food. And so really, we're not chopping it. We don't want to eat it. We're just letting it infuse its flavor into the olive oil. So what's happening here with the garlic is I'm just letting it bring its flavors to the oil. That oil is then going to be touching our asparagus. So to go on with the asparagus, the way to find out what part of the asparagus is inedible is you just go like this. Okay, well that one, let me try it again. That's quite a lot. Usually it's the bottom third. All right, so that's an inedible amount of asparagus. It seems like,
so cool. I had no idea. That's so cool.
yes, it is cool. And here we go, is we are gonna just cut it. I just cut off the bottom third. And that is going to the trash. And the next thing that, I'm gonna show you is that we're gonna use the top third and we're gonna use that as our garnish, okay? So the top third we're gonna broil and it's gonna become the really pretty part on top. So actually, let me just take a second and show you the pasta that we're making is gonna look like this. And if you can see closely enough, you see that there's pieces of asparagus on the top, and that is going to be what we're gonna do right now. So actually, so let's say, I gotta create a little space here. It's always, I've gotta keep everything in camera, and I don't have a huge kitchen as it is. So what I have going on is a baking sheet with tin foil on it. And I'm putting all the tops to the asparagus here. What I'm about to show you, which you could do with actually just like whole pieces of asparagus with the bottoms cut off, is how to broil asparagus. So you're just gonna put olive oil, salt, and pepper. My pepper grinder is being a little, let's see if it works. It's probably gonna give out in the middle of this class. It looks so pretty. Fortunately, I was in Israel over December for my nephew's bar mitzvah, and I brought pepper back from the Arab market. So they have the best spices in the world in the Middle East. And always one of my favorite things is to go to the Arab market to make friends with my Arab brothers and sisters. And food is one of the most amazing ways that we can make peace. We can all agree what good food is. And I just am gonna lick my fingers here. It's good. If it wasn't good, I'd say add more salt or add more pepper. And now it's just gonna go in the broiler and I'm gonna broil it for a few minutes. Let's try not to let me forget about those and burn them. Okay. Next thing that we're gonna do is I see my shallots and my onions beginning to brown. I don't want that to happen yet. I need a minute before I'm ready. So I'm just gonna move it off the heat source. That's what you can do to save time, give yourself a minute. Just take it off the flames. And I'm gonna cut these asparagus into small pieces. So here's the situation, guys. This asparagus is gonna have 3 textures in our mouth on this pasta. One texture is gonna be the top, which are gonna be the tops of them on the top. And then our sauce is going to have pieces that are about the size I just showed you. Plus, we're gonna puree some of it. So we're gonna have some creaminess too. So flavor is extremely important, but so is texture. And when I was thinking about inventing this recipe, you know, I really don't like cooking with cream. I'm not even very dairy tolerant. So, you know, I was like, how am I going to get this like to be creamy and delicious? I feel a sneeze coming on. Forgive me. Shoo!
God bless you.
That's the pepper. That's the pepper. That's the pepper. So I'm taking the asparagus and I'm putting them in.
Don't worry, everybody. The sneeze can't come through the computer. It's all good.
Yeah, no one can get, I'm not sick, but like, you couldn't get it through the computer. That's why we're on the computer, right? I mean, in my cooking classes, we're like all in the kitchen cooking together. I'm not a demo type of teacher. I'm a like, get your hands dirty, let's make it happen, let's almost burn shit together and like have fun. So we're gonna just give it a stir. This is going into the flavored olive oil. And now I'm gonna speed it up a tiny little bit. And now I'm going to add what we need to add inside of here, which is salt. Ladies, if your food is not amazing, you're not using enough salt. I happen to know that a lot of people do not use enough salt. And I'm adding a little more pepper. Okay, how do we want it to taste? Good. You know, the pepper is gonna give it like a little bit of a kick. And then we're gonna add our two special ingredients that really take this pasta to another level, which is gonna be lemon zest and nutmeg. Okay, so when I research a recipe, like I wanted to come up with an asparagus pasta, and I write about it in my book. I had a catering party I was doing, and they were already serving something with tomatoes. I couldn't do a tomato pasta. There was all these big considerations I needed to have, and I needed a new pasta recipe. And asparagus would have been perfect. So how do I make an asparagus pasta? Well, parlo italiano. I lived in Italy for 5 years. I read and speak Italian. I go online and I start Googling pasta ai asparagi. How does one make a pasta ai asparagi? And what I found is that some of the recipes had lemon zest in them, and some of the recipes had nutmeg in them. And nutmeg was particularly surprising to me. Hold on, I got an issue, hold on. My pasta water was off. Okay, hold on. My pasta is like boiling, but the top is stuck on it. I don't want to deal with this, okay.
We've all done it. It's so good to see you do it too, Elana.
What, mess stuff up?
Not mess up, just, have a lot going on at once.
Oh my God, that's it. Cooking is a dance, So it's like I'd say to beginners, like just do one thing at a time and really try to focus. I'm doing a lot of things at a time. I've got 2 screens, I'm talking to you, I'm answering questions, I'm teaching, I'm cooking several different recipes. And of course I'm gonna mess stuff up every once in a while. And it helps people, that's the time people say they love the most, because it helps them gain confidence as a cook. So let's do, okay, letting that go.
Okay, Elana, there's a question from Sherry. She asked, going back to the asparagus, if you only put the tips in the skillet.
I did the opposite. I only put the tips in the broiler. The bottoms are in the skillet. So remember the tips. Sherry, you must have come on late. Hold on. So what's happening here under my broiler is I have the tips. They look good. They actually have a nice crunch to them. They're not quite as black as I'd like, but they have a little brown. I'm gonna let them be. I'm gonna set this on the side. I'll show them to you in a moment. I'm gonna keep focusing here. Okay, hold on. Let me check the water, pasta water. Okay. We're gonna take a pause because I'm gonna switch gears in just a second. All right, for a second. So, all right, let me see how I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna get everything in the camera. This pasta is going to take us less than 10 minutes to finish, even less than that. So what I'm gonna do is show you how to make a pasta al dente. So while the pasta is finishing cooking, we'll have finished the sauce and then we'll finish it together. So we haven't put the flavors in the sauce yet. I'll talk about it in half a second, but we're gonna go right here. So first things first is you want your pasta at a full rolling boil. And It was over there, but it's not on the flame right now. And you're putting enough salt in here so that the water tastes like the sea. Now, normally in a bigger pot, which is what you need if you're making more pasta than I'm making, this sauce will be enough for a pound of pasta, but I'm just gonna make less because it's just, I'm gonna save the sauce and use it later. I don't like to have leftover pasta. I'm putting enough in here so it's like the sea. And then I'm going to add the pasta in here. I will talk to you in a second about what pasta I'm using, etc. And I'm just gonna put it in and I give it a stir and I get it over the flame. Okay, so that's our pasta. Bear with me. I know there's a lot going on, but it's okay. We don't not normally cover the pasta water, but I'm doing it because it's a little slow because I've been moving stuff along. I'm going to talk to you guys in a minute about the pasta that I use and what to use the pasta. I'm going to focus now on flavoring the sauce because we're multitasking here. So I have a lemon and I'm zesting it, and I'm using what is called a microplane. And a microplane is one of my favorite tools. I use it in every single class. It's like $14. You can get it through my website on Amazon, and you know, great gift. Copy of Meal and Spiel and a microplane. Amazing gift. You know, just want to give someone a microplane, just give them a microplane. Okay,
I'm doing it right now.
Okay, yeah, you need this. So I'm taking this lemon zest and I'm just putting it directly in here. And then I'm going to use my microplane again, and I'm going to use nutmeg. So remember, as I told you, I got the idea to use nutmeg, which they call noce moscato, like a muscat nut, in Italy. So bizarre. And I decided to use them both, the lemon and the nutmeg together. I didn't know if that would work, because usually when you think of nutmeg, you think of a wintry food, which is why it's odd that it even goes with asparagus. And when you think of lemon, you think of, you know, spring or something lighter, but it's actually a winter fruit. And I'm using a half a nutmeg. So, you know, what you'll learn from my book and from me is that I always grate nutmeg fresh. If you do not have whole nutmegs in the house, then run and buy them. And if in the meantime, then you'll use a pinch of nutmeg. But what can I tell you? It's not the same. So since I've got all these 2.5s and 3s in the kitchen, all of you badass cooks, like, I'm just gonna tell you, you need to use a whole nutmeg. No excuses for you guys. And I'm gonna just, smells so good in here. Let these flavors meld. Let's smell it. Sorry, you can't smell it with me, but I can smell it. See how it is. Let me get away.
So Elana, there's another question from Nancy. She asked what the name of the knife is.
The knife or the microplane?
The knife.
The knife, this is the knife, it's Kyocera. So if you go to elanahorwich.com and go to the shop, you will find all my favorite things. I literally am linking you then to Amazon. So, you know, it's very made easy for you. This is a service I provide for my clients. So let's just take a look at our pasta, and now we're going to talk about pasta. Oh, it's like at a full boil over here. So the pasta that I love using for this dish is a spelt pasta, which they say in Italian, a pasta di farro, okay? Farro, you've probably seen that before. You probably ordered farro in a restaurant. It's like a grain. It is a form of wheat. I don't have it. Okay, so I'm gonna use gluten-free pasta. You're gonna use whatever pasta you have. Doesn't matter, as long as it's a good quality one. I'm using a good quality gluten-free pasta. Now, since you guys are 2.5s and 3s over here, you know how to cook a pasta al dente. You may not be putting enough salt in your water, and if you are not, please rectify that now. But what we're gonna do here actually is undercook the pasta. We're gonna undercook it by 2 minutes. That way, we're gonna finish cooking the pasta in here with pasta water. So let's get some of the pasta water now. So you need to have a Meal and a Spiel mug. Just joking. I don't even. These are from the old days of my cooking classes. So maybe some of you have them. And let's show you. Let me put it on camera so you can see what's happening here. Okay, I am taking some pasta water out with a mug. And that is just gonna go on reserve right here, and I'm putting this pasta back onto the flame. Not on my computer. Okay. Okay, hold on. Shoot, this is really.
Elana, Alex loves the whole nutmeg thing. I think we all do.
You what? You love the nutmeg thing?
We all love the nutmeg thing. I didn't know. I'm sure a lot of other people didn't also.
Yeah, nutmeg, you know, whole fresh nutmeg. It's great. So let me taste this. It's amazing. I can't even tell you. If you make this and it's not amazing, you need more pepper and more nutmeg and more salt. Because mine are pronounced in here and it's absolutely perfect. Now, of course, I don't bring a spoon and forks with me. So let me taste the pasta. I want it to be 2 minutes before al dente. Let's see. It's more than 2 minutes before al dente. I'm gonna see if you guys have any questions for me. And if not, I know what else we're gonna do.
So your mother asked where you can get your mug.
Okay, I have the questions here. All right, so yeah, Ada wants to know where she can get a mug. That's obviously a joke. You go to Ada's house, and in the garage, I think there's still about 30 mugs left there from the hundreds that we have had over the years. That is where you get a meal in a Spiel mug. Okay, wonderful. I think I've gotten all your questions so far. Let's keep going. Okay, so what we're gonna do now is take some, but not all of our sauce, right? It's not really a sauce, it's textured. You guys see that? It's textured. So you're going to take about half of it and you're gonna put it in your blender. Now, I'm gonna be using my Cuisinart here because we're gonna use our blender for making the desserts and I don't wanna sit and wash it in between, but it's your blender, your Cuisinart, whatever it is. And I'm not actually putting the pieces of garlic in here and I'm only using half of it. Why? Because I want the other half to be textured. And I'm gonna put in a little bit of this pasta water in here. And now I'm just gonna turn it on and puree. I can see that it's not getting to a full puree. It needs a little bit more of this pasta water, so I'm just gonna do that. Again, if you're using a blender or Vitamix, you know, it might need less water or something, but this is this. There we go. Oh, beautiful. And what we have in here is a puree, okay? And it's going directly, you'll see it come in directly to here. Oh, so amazing. So amazing. Oh, yum. Mm. Fantastic. Okay, and so then this is just getting mixed together. And I think at this point, this looks so good. Let me just show you guys what's happening here. So it's like a combination of texture and cream. Okay? This is good shit. All right, let's taste this pasta. I think we're gonna be at 2 minutes before al dente. We are. No, we're probably about, I still need 1 more minute. But
Elana, how do you know?
How do I know? That's a good question, Wendy. So, experience, you know, that's one thing, is experience. That's why I love to do classes in person, is because I can show you exactly what it is. But that doesn't mean you can't learn on your own. You're gonna read the box. And the box is gonna say, you know, 9 minutes. The box might say 9 to 11 minutes. 9 minutes is how the Italians eat it. 11 minutes is how the Americans eat it. You're sticking to 9 minutes. What you're looking for is that it is bites all the way through and is just giving, there's no crunch, but it's just giving, almost about to give its texture away, but hasn't. Like it still has texture to it, but it doesn't have like a crunch bite in there. That's what you're looking for. That's what's al dente. You just, look, sometimes you're gonna mess it up and overcook it too, okay? It's like, done it, I've done it, I've done it, I've done it. All right, I'm preparing to get this, I have a strainer already in my sink. You always have your strainer ready. You cannot overcook pasta. It is a major no-no in Italian cooking. And let's see. So remember, we have, oh, I'm gonna take some more pasta water too. I might need it. So I'm gonna dip in for more pasta water here. Put it, get it ready for me. And I am going to drain my pasta. Okay. Now, since I am cooking for myself and I do not want to make a pound of pasta and then I don't want to eat it not fresh, like pasta is good fresh, I'm actually just going to take some of this sauce out and leave it on the side so that I can make more fresh pasta at another time for myself. So I'm making, you know, 4 ounces, so I'm making like less than what normally I'm taking out, you know, 3/4 of this. You can always add more. And now I'm taking my pasta and I'm putting it in with here. Get this out of our way so you can see. And I'm adding some of my pasta water in here. And the pasta is going to finish cooking inside of the asparagus, cream, and inside of the pasta water. And as that cooks, I have the flame on a medium high. I might even go high just to speed it up for us. And it's what is called a fuoco vivace, okay? So think about that. Vivacity, that's the word for like liveliness. By vivace, V-I-V-A-C-E, vivace, vivace. Okay, we're over a lively flame. And just imagine the Italians, the passion and the fire and how they cook. Fuoco vivace, you know? It's not just, you're not just learning how to make recipes of the Italians. You learn to speak a language by putting the language in your body. You learn to speak, you learn to cook the language by putting you learn to cook a cuisine also by putting the language of the cuisine in your body. So really like, feel like you're Italian, just fake it, you know what it is. Pretend like you're Sophia Loren, for real. Pretend like you're Sophia Loren cooking the pasta, you know what I mean? Every time you cook the pasta, however it is that you are doing it, like this is the feeling that goes into the food. And believe me, it makes a difference.
And do you have a favorite wine with this pasta?
A favorite line?
Wine.
Oh, well, okay, so I'm not a sommelier at all. I'm not, you know, I would use a crisp white wine. Something from northern Italy, and if you wanted it to have, you know, a little bit more Sauvignon Blanc area, you could do that too. So I mean, I'm not a Chardonnay fan to begin with. They don't even make Chardonnay in Italy. So I'm gonna speed this up a little bit. But that's what I do, a Pinot Grigio to a Sauvignon Blanc type of situation. That's what I would do. So here's the thing, we gotta test it. Is it done? The answer is yes. Okay. The answer is actually, let me tell you something, gluten-free pasta is a little bit more tricky. I'm not gonna lie to you. You're gonna add a touch more water, let that finish out. And while that's just finishing cooking itself, I'm gonna be starting to grate some Parmigiano Reggiano. So, all right, all you 2.5 to 3.5 badass cooks, clearly you are not using Parmesan cheese. Okay, we're only using Parmigiano Reggiano. You are only using Parmigiano Reggiano from here until the end of time. Parmigiano Reggiano is the cheese. You've been to my classes, you've read my book, you know this in and out. It is the king of all Italian cheeses. It comes from northern Italy between Parma and Reggio Emilia. You know, certain species of cows milked at certain times of the day, and that is it. So that is Parmigiano Reggiano. It's the king of all cheeses. There we go. Let's be done with this pasta. We're gonna plate it. Looks delicious. We are going to take some of our, remember these babies? Some of the toppings from our asparagus pasta. And we're gonna add a little bit more. We're gonna add Parmigiano Reggiano. And we're gonna add some more lemon zest. And then we are going to put some lemon zest on top of there, a little bit more. And that's it, guys. I don't have a fork in front of me. That was a, hold on. Okay, so that's it. I hate to not eat this in front of you. Just see how it is. It's really hot. It's delicious. Okay, it is absolutely delicious. I feel the nutmeg coming through. I feel the pepper coming through, the lemon. I feel the asparagus. I feel the cheese. We got it. We nailed it. We're good. Yum.
We're so jealous.
You're so jealous. I know. I know. I want to have a farmhouse one day, and that way I can invite everybody over, and then we could like do social distance cooking classes.
We're there.
We're there. Okay. I'm looking at the time because I recognize we do have people on Instagram. By the way, everyone on Instagram, please donate to we have a button in there. Please donate to the Concern Foundation. We have all raised over $1,000 already just with this cooking class. So let's go for it. Go for more. And now what we're going to talk about is I will do this tomato bruschetta, and then I'm going to have to like stop and restart you Instagram folks. Let's talk about our tomato bruschetta. So I got a mess here. I know it's hard to not have a mess. So bread. What bread are we using for bruschetta? We're clearly not going to use sliced bread that you find in the store. Also, you're not going to use baguette because baguette will not carry the weight of the tomatoes. The tomatoes are going to go drop right through the baguette. So I don't like to use baguette. Baguette is good for crostini, but all those tomatoes are going to just come right through. So this is a ciabatta, okay? A ciabatta is a like rustic country loaf. Am I using olive bread? No, I'm not. Am I using, a garlic bread? No, I'm not. Am I using sourdough? No, I am not. I am using ciabatta or a rustic country loaf. What if you don't have that? Okay, then you wait until you get it. So we're gonna take a few pieces of this bread and we are simply going to toast it. I'll make 3 pieces here. It'll be pretty in a picture. Okay, so we'll take, and I'm gonna just toast it under my broiler. My broiler's on. I'm just gonna stick it in there and broil it on one side and the other. Okay. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the rest of this cheese and just put it here. Put some more on top here. Just gotta get rid of it. So that will not be, this will not suck in the pan. Lots of extra cheese, that will not suck. I am going to prepare a piece of garlic for us. So in the rules of bruschetta, I believe I said this before, is that we are not putting chopped garlic into the tomatoes. I know that at your favorite Italian restaurants, they do it. If they're doing this in an Italian restaurant, it's not a good Italian restaurant. I'm telling you that right now. There's not Italian in the kitchen. Or what they're doing is they're trying to cater to American palates. Okay, we have restaurants called Garlic Palace or whatever it's called, or La Cienega. You know, It's like Americans are so used to getting their flavor just like blown out of the mouth. Whoa, that's good, man. No, what's good is the purity of the tomato. The garlic is just used to support that. So I'm not going to be chopping this garlic. I'm just going to be opening it. And on that note, let me just make sure I don't burn my bread. Okay, it's toasted on top. I'm flipping it over.
So I was going to try to cook with Elana today, but she warned me that she'd go too fast and I was afraid I could not keep up. So kudos to any of you who are cooking with her. You're awesome.
Well, I'm actually curious to know, I mean, most of these classes, people are not cooking along. If we wanted to do a cook-along class, we would have to move much slower. Do you know what I mean? But I have found that most people come and they're learning how to cook and then they cook at home. And I actually want to commend you for that because remember, I am a teacher of intuitive cooking. If you are just, I do this, you do this, I do this, you do this, I do this, you do this, you're not getting it inside, okay? I want you to absorb it. I want you to almost forget it. And then I just want you to go and play. And just trust me that what I'm teaching you, what's coming out, even all the chaos, is part of restructuring your brain to be confident, intuitive cook, okay? So, I've got this garlic, and it's open, and it's whole, it's cut in half, but whatever. At least I got big pieces here. And we are gonna use this to just rub the bread. That's what's gonna happen. We're gonna rub the bread, and let's see, it's done. Woo! By the way, I really recommend putting the bread on a baking sheet and sticking it in the oven, but I didn't do that. Okay, oven goes off. And let me see where we are with my Instagram people. We got a minute. We got enough time here. Okay, so take a beautiful plate, or whatever you got, and put your bruschetta, your bread on there. And then you're gonna take the bread and you're gonna take the garlic and you're just gonna rub it. And 2-3 times. And you're gonna smell it, and it's gonna smell like garlic. Okay? You did not see me rub, rub, rub. I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. Rub, rub, rub. That's American. Italian, gentle with the garlic. So you just do that. And you just continue to do that. There we go. Done. And now I am going to, we're going to get my spoons and stuff over here. I'm going to use my hands. It's the next best thing. Taking these tomatoes, and I'm going to take a little bit of the juice. I could do this with a spoon. And I'm just going to, just a little bit of the juice and put it on the bread. Just a little bit. Do this with a spoon, okay? But, all right. So that's it. That's yum. Now I'm going to put these tomatoes directly on the bread. You think I'm done, but I'm still not done after this. There's one final step. If you guess it, you're a maestra or maestro. Okay, first of all, is that amazing? The answer is yes, that is amazing. And then the final step is olio extravergine d'oliva. So this time I might take an olive oil that's a little bit better in quality, if I have it, still in a dark glass, still extra virgin. And I'm looking for any bits of bread that I can see. Okay, so this is the really important part. If you do not add the final touch of olive oil, you have not made a proper bruschetta. You can't serve it to an Italian. You need a lot of olive oil to serve it to an Italian. And you are an Italian. Okay, and I'm putting a lot of olive oil in here, and I'm letting it drench the bread. And I'm letting it fall off the bread onto the plate so at the bottom. Oh, that is what I'm talking about. Okay? And then I have to taste it for you to make sure that it's not poison. And it is delicious. So I will tell you something, because it didn't sit like super long, I kind of am craving a little bit more basil. That's fine. You can actually put some basil on the top, just cut up a little bit more. That will give it a little bit more of a fresh basil feel. So you can just do that too. Yum. Okay. We only have 5 more minutes of class unless you guys have questions. But I'm going to turn off Instagram and come right back to you guys. Turn you on and off.
Okay.
I'm coming right back to you all.
I just want to like jump through the screen, Elana, into your kitchen. It looks so good.
Yeah, it is. Okay, yeah, I know. You can do this, Wendy. What kind of cook are you?
I'm like not as good a cook as you. We'll go with the intuitive part.
What does that mean?
It means I don't really love to follow recipes. I like to kind of put stuff together and see what I have. And
that's fine. What's the matter with that?
Well, according to you, nothing, which makes me feel much better.
Well, how does it turn out is the question.
It turns out well. I wish my kids were a little more adventurous because I feel like I could make a little more. They're pretty good.
Yeah, that's a tough part. People ask me about that all the time. I'm not a parent, and that's a parenting question. But more olive oil, more salt is going to make your kids like everything. Your kids will like this meal. Yeah, they're like, not the dessert. You're gonna have to. The dessert is gonna have to go virgin. All right, guys. So we have made pasta. We have made tomato bruschetta, and now we are going to make one of my most absolute favorite desserts, which is a sgroppinno. Okay, sgroppinno comes from the verb sgroppire in Italian, which means to untie. So what we're doing is really developed up in Venice as a palate cleanser to move from one, before you get to dessert, you would have a sgroppinno. It is a boozy lemon sorbet type of situation. In different places, sometimes they make it with lemon sorbet, sometimes they make it with lemon gelato. I have found that by making it with lemon sorbet and vanilla ice cream, that we have the best sgroppinno possible. This is a drink that I used to have with my friends in Rome when we knew we were going out to like dancing all night long. So you eat dinner and you don't want a dessert that's gonna weigh you down. You want a dessert that's gonna keep the party going. So you order a sgroppinno because there's vodka and Prosecco in it and it keeps you going. So what we're gonna do is go to my freezer and grab my ice cream and my lemon sorbet, which, let me get that right now. Okay. Super, super easy. This is, for all of you 3.5 badasses out there, don't tell anybody how easy it is. This is, if you are a 0 cook, even a -5 cook, you can make this recipe. What we're gonna do is we are going to take 1 pint of, we're gonna take 1 pint of lemon sorbet. So let's get that going. And I realized I should have taken my ice cream out a little bit sooner, but I didn't want it to melt while I was teaching everything else. Wendy, does anyone have any questions while we're here?
Nobody's typed them, but I'm happy to read them if people do.
Okay, it's okay. So look, I'm putting in 1 pint of lemon sorbet.
And is there a brand you like the best of the lemon sorbet?
I'll be honest with you, this is Haagen-Dazs. It's what I found. There's not that many options of lemon sorbet in the market. Like I find that there's one that I think called Ciao Bella, and there's this. It's like it's kind of what you find is probably going to be okay. Vanilla ice cream, we're going to do half the amount of vanilla ice cream. So 1 pint lemon sorbet, half a pint of vanilla ice cream. So just going to do. I'm obviously doing a half-assed job of this, but I'm just putting in half. Then we are going to be adding a zest of lemon. So let's not use the microplane that already has nutmeg and cheese on it. Let's use the microplane that is clean, because I have a couple of them. And just to let you know, this lemon is near ready to be dead. It's ready for the trash, but the zest is still good. So it's a little too squeezy, I can tell, for it to eat, but the zest still has the flavor. So when we're thinking about lemon zest, like the juice has the acidity, but the zest has the flavor of the lemon. So we're accentuating the lemon sorbet by adding lemon zest to it, okay? So that's what's happening here. And I know my mom's on the line, and this is Ada's absolutely favorite thing. And since I'm gonna have so much of it, I can actually run some over to her. That is, sometimes I do food deliveries. So we're adding lemon zest in here. And by the way, I can already tell that that lemon did not give me great zest. So I'm gonna add a little bit more from this lemon that I have. But just one big lemon zest is good.
And Elana, what's the difference between sorbet, gelato, and ice cream?
Oh, okay. Well, sorbet is like a sorbet. It doesn't have dairy in it, right? The sorbet is like icy. Ice cream is ice cream, and gelato is an Italian ice cream. And how are they made differently? I honestly, unfortunately, I really am not a pastry chef. I don't even know, and I don't even eat that much dairy. This is an exception for me. I think it's the amount of egg to cream is what it is. That's what I think it is. It's sort of the process in which it's made. Ice cream, American ice cream, it tends to be a little harder. Italian sorbet tends to be a little bit smoother. Okay, now this could be for children. This could be for you, but it's not. This is for adults. And so I'm going to be adding a cup of Prosecco. So I kind of know how much that is. That's like this. And I'm going to be adding a 1/4 cup of vodka. I do recommend you measure this. I just don't have my measuring tools in front of me, and I've done this a lot of times. So a 1/4 cup of vodka. If you don't have vodka, you could skip that part, but I don't recommend it. I recommend having some vodka. How often I mean, vodka is like one of those things I have in the house. I don't even drink it. It's here for this reason, or if somebody comes over and drinks vodka. And then we're going to go blend it, which is right behind me. This is my, it's going to get loud for a second. This is my Vitamix. It's really high powered blender. I love it. If you don't have, I'm sure you have a blender, but you can also do it in your Cuisinart too. So let's see.
Elana, people are very excited that you brought out the booze, but they're texting me. They're not putting it in chat because I think that they're too embarrassed, but I just got 4 texts about how excited people are that you brought out the booze.
That I brought out the booze. Amazing. Why are they embarrassed about that? I think some companies are going out of business. I don't think liquor companies are, though. All right. So now the next thing that we're going to do is serve it. Well, let's taste it, actually. Oh, I have a little spoon here. Okay, let's see. I'm telling you guys, it's so good. It's so good. This is the best thing. I'm telling you. People come to my classes. We're there for 3 hours. We're like, oh my God, we don't have time to make dessert. I'm like, don't worry, it takes 2 minutes. I've videotapes of people being like, this is the best thing I've ever had. It's really one of the best things ever. You just saw how easy it is. And then you just pour it into a cup. You know, it's really nice in a champagne glass too, which I don't have.
Can I see some pictures of
And then we are going to garnish it with a piece of lemon. You can also put this in a Tupperware and keep it in your freezer for yourself, but you can make it ahead of time for guests and like put it in these and just put that in your freezer as is. And I'm going to take a knife and I'm just going to make some lemon slices here. And so I take a lemon slice and I just make a slice on the side. And it goes right onto my glass. There we go. Cheers. That's really good. So you guys, that concludes the cooking portion of this class, which essentially concludes the class. I want to thank everyone for being here, and I want to also not remind you, for those thank you so much for participating in donating to Beauty Bus and the Concern Foundation, which does research for cancer and make sure that patients that are stuck at home have their needs met, including like doing something so beautiful, like it's a little hard maybe at these times, but get to have their hair done at other times. It really gives dignity to someone that is going through, you know, a certain process or a manicure that, you know, when you're sick, honestly, beauty can make you feel incredibly well. We know that. So I want to let you know that if you do not have my beautiful Bible of Meal into Spiel, How to Be a Badass in the Kitchen yet, 500 pages, denim covered, beautiful stories, gorgeous photography, you know, then if you buy it today from ElanaHorwich.com, 20% of all the proceeds are going to Concern Foundation and to Beauty Bus. So now is a wonderful time to get your hands on this book that will be your Bible during this quarantine and for the rest of your life. Money back guarantee. And also, I want to let you know, if anyone on our call really wants to step up and to give more, for anyone who donates $250, I will send you a copy of this beautiful book signed as a thank you for making that donation. And I want to let you know that we have other cooking classes coming up that are for different charities. I'm sure even Wendy supports that. We want to give everybody, you know, as many support to as many different causes that we believe in. And I always also love to end on a spiel. So if that's okay, I'll just take a moment to end on a spiel. And please, if you have any questions, guys, but here's my spiel. It's actually going to go back to our first recipe, which is for the tomato bruschetta. And it's this. The word bruschetta comes from the Italian bruscare, which means to roast over coals. It refers to the bread itself, not the toppings. As opposed to the thin, small crostini on which the topping is the star, bruschetta is all about the bread. Rather large slices of bread are grilled, rubbed with garlic, then drizzled with olive oil. Stop right there. That simplicity is their traditional Tuscan bruschetta, also known as fettunta, which means oiled slice. Bruschetta is also often topped with tomatoes and basil, though other toppings from meats to vegetables can be used. Tomato bruschetta, like all Italian staples, comes with a set of rules. Okay, I love my Italian culinary statutes. Unfortunately, many of these rules are broken at even the highest establishments. I'm going to set it straight right here, right now. First off, it's pronounced bruschetta, not bruschetta. Next, the tomatoes. Tomato bruschetta is the best in the summer when the tomatoes are sweet. So we're starting a little earlier, but that's okay. Choose heirloom if possible. The colorful batch of summertime's heirlooms make for a beautiful presentation, if not also a more delicious treat. After heirloom, vine ripened are your best choice. That's what we use today. And you want them to be still firm enough to the touch, but feel like they can be cut neatly-ish and slightly soft. I read that out of order. When tomatoes aren't in season, use cherry tomatoes. They're quite good all year round. Contrary to popular belief, neither balsamic nor any kind of vinegar is acceptable to use on this dish. Chopped garlic also has no place in this dish either. And for the rest of the ingredients, go for quality. If there's ever a time to use really good olive oil, this is it. Use fresh basil, sliced horizontally, not chopped, and good quality salt. In terms of bread, sourdough and French baguettes are delicious, and so is olive bread, but they have no place in bruschetta. Flavored breads are not permitted. Use the best ciabatta or rustic country loaf you can find. And that is the spiel, but I'll also let you know, I just noticed this, I have like 60 of these answers to questions that come up often in cooking classes, and this one is, how do you make bruschetta for the masses when you only have one tomato? And that's actually a really good question. So what we would do is, we would toast the bread like we did, you would rub it with the oil, and with the garlic, and then you would take one tomato and make it go as far as you possibly can and just rub tomato on the bread. So it wouldn't have a tomato topping, but it would just have some tomato flavor. And believe me, they call it la bruschetta povera, and it's delicious. So Wendy, do you want to say goodbye to all of us?
Yes. Thank you all so much. Elana, you're amazing. This was incredible. I'm excited to make dinner tonight. Thank you for supporting Beauty Bus, and thank you for supporting Concern. Thank you to all of you who were on with us today, especially those of you on the East Coast, to Nancy and to Rosemary. We are so grateful to all of you. We hope everyone stays safe and healthy. Beauty Bus and Concern on Saturday, May 23rd are doing a bingo night. We have our second bingo night. We sold out the first time, 5 o'clock on the West Coast. We have a family game, and then 9 o'clock we have a less child appropriate game. Elana, we hope to do this again with you. We hope everyone has lots of fun, boozy lemon drinks, and stay safe.
Gropey.
Make sure your kids stay safe with distance learning. Because nobody wants to get corona.
No one does. No one does.
Theme song I'm not gonna sing.
That was Tyler, sorry.
Thank you for all of you who have signed up. You're getting the recipes to your inbox and the ingredient list. And again, for anyone on Instagram, please consider donating to the button that you just saw that is on there to the Concern Foundation. We really appreciate it. I want to always make sure that I leave these classes open to everybody. That's why I also do it on Instagram so everyone knows, because I don't want anyone to feel like they're left out. So I just want to give extra special love to everyone that signed up and registered. Thank you.
And thank you for your book. It's amazing. Mine is signed.
Oh, that's wonderful. Well, if you buy a book today, you're going to get a signed copy, and 20% of the proceeds go to Concern Foundation and Beauty Bus. So
Thank you all so much. We're so grateful. Stay safe. Elana, you're amazing. Ada, I'm coming to your house for a mug.
Oh, yeah. So.
Love you all. Thank you so much.